The 844th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs.
Howdy ho, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 844, I believe we said, of the MMA Gambling Podcast of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. That's dedicated to Burr, our friend Burr. I haven't seen him in the Discord for a while, but he seems to be back and in there now. So this goes out to you, Burr. Thank you to everyone for coming. I am one of your hosts, Kaiser Del Busto, Jeff Fox. We got another big event. We just covered a big Octagon event yesterday. This one's going head-to-head with it, basically in the same part of the world. Not same part of the world. Europe. I guess it's the same part of the world, technically. KSW. They have a... Octagon has a big stadium show. Not to be outdone, KSW, it's got a very big arena show, something like a 10 or 11,000 person arena. So both these events probably will be bigger and more exciting than the UFC's Atlanta show, which will be going on Saturday as well. But we'll be covering that tomorrow. Today's all about KSW. Of course, I have the man with the plan, the man who's up 20 units on regional MMA to break down this event, Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Hello.
Yeah, and KSW, if I'm not mistaken, was a little rough for me last time. So this is the bounce back game. Also, just as a friendly reminder to everybody, we got tons of regional coverage for you this week. Make sure you check it all out because it's not just Octagon, it's not just KSW. We got LFA, and then if you go back to last week's shows too, we got two different PFL shows, and that's going to be coming your way on Thursday. So only a couple of days away. Still got plenty of time to listen into those as well.
And people will still be asking. UAE Warriors, we have two events this week. Ryzen's got an event, so I'm sure people will be.
I looked at Ryzen. Did it have good? I can't remember. Was it halfway decent this week?
I think we probably would have been covering it if it was big. No, it's no title fights, and let me see a bunch of names I don't know. So
who's the main event? Who do you got for the main event?
Main event is Vugar Karamov versus Shuya Kimura.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, that's not that great.
Yeah. And it's in an ice arena, so it's not like a massive
yeah.
fight. But I'm sure Gumby can get you picks. I'm sure if you hit us up, Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, or of course YouTube. I'm giving Gumby extra work here. Perfect. That's what we like to see. All right, we're gonna dive into KSW after. I remind you, you can get this show plus free picks for Stanley Cup, for the NBA playoffs, World Series, college baseball, all that good stuff. All the picks, all the podcasts, all the good stuff is at the SGPN app. So get it wherever you get your apps, SGPN app. KSW 107, DeFries versus, oh no, it's a Polish name, isn't it? Wazo. Okay, let me think this one out. Rizosik. Rosick. It's easy. It's as easy as Rosick.
Yeah, it's Rosick.
Phil DeFries versus Rosick.
You're not gonna
good first name too. Arkadiusz. Rosick. I'll forget that by the time we get to that fight.
Arkadiusz.
Rosick. Polish people are hating me right now. They're fighting in Gdańsk, Poland. Gdańsk on the Saturday noon. So basically, this is the exact same time as Octagon starting, I believe. Prelims, YouTube, main card, KSW pay-per-view. 9 fights. We're covering 5 of them, and then we'll have some lightning round ones if there's other ones Gumby enjoys. Ergo Arena in Gdańsk, Poland, if you want to go watch it. Noon start time on the East Coast. And we are kicking things off with a couple. There's going to be a lot of fun names here. This one is a lightweight belt. Roman Szymański, he's from Poland. Kacper Formela, he's from Poland as well. Those weren't that hard. 155. We got odds for you too, which is great. Polish Machida is Formela. Is it the Polish Machida era yet, Gumby?
It's not the Polish Machida era. Man, I really loved when it was Joe Rogan who yelled "Welcome to the Machida era," right?
Yeah.
And it lasted one fight.
One fight, yeah. he got a robbery win and then he got beat.
So I guess it
Fights,
okay,
right?
two fights.
One opponent, but 2 fights, yes. Polish Machida is 18-5, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. 1-1 in KSW, 9-1 over his last 10. TKO loss in his last bout. Regional, he's a regional champ. He's fed at 145, 2015 pro MMA debut, 3 years younger than Szymański, an inch taller, plus 120. Szymański, 17-9, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. 9-6 in KSW. He's lost 3 straight fights. Before that, he won 4 straight. He's not lost a fight since January 2023. He's a regional champ. He's fought at 145 and 160. 2012 Pro MMA debut, minus 150. So a fairly close one to kick things off.
I'm going to go with Roman Szymański, but
there was a big sigh there.
Yeah, because even with this line close, I'm like not enthused about this pick. I like watched more than one of their fights each to be like, I don't really want to pick either of these guys because of the flaws that they have right now and the fact that the other guy plays really poorly into that flaw. Like they're actually both each other's worst nightmares. Like Formela, let's start with him, right? Polish Machida.
Yep.
He's a fun striker. You know, like there's a reason he likely gave himself that nickname. Like,
yep.
You know, throws crane kicks if he wants, you know, flashy with the kicks, kind of it's not terribly karate stylistically. Like it's not like Wonder Boy or Machida, but like you can tell there's some snippets in there. And so like, obviously like those are the things that he likes to do, but he's gotten taken down a lot. And when he gets taken down, the urgency to get up is not really there. Like I actually think the technique to get up is there, but not the urgency. And so then Szymański is his worst nightmare because Szymański hits pretty nice takedowns, right? So there you go. There's his flaw. Roman Szymański, on the other hand, hits good takedowns, but he like moves on the feet. Like I wrote down goofy movement on the feet. And the only reason I wrote that is because it's like frantic. It's like all over the place. And like, it's not purpose driven. Like he's not a person who is moving his head because he's moving his head. He's moving his head because he saw somebody do it on the heavy bag and doesn't seem to realize that like he needs to do it with a purpose. And so it's just like moving. It's just like rattling all around all the time. And like, that's not good to fight somebody like Formela because he understands striking angles and is a guy who does that kind of thing. So like, you're going to just stick your head somewhere where it's going to get clipped if you do that. So like on one hand, Szymański could take down Formela. On the other hand, he could make mistakes with his head movement. I've also seen Szymański like kind of quit in there, you know, the Leo Brichta fight, you know, not to call a guy out, but on the Leo Brichta fight, like he had good positions after wrestling. He didn't keep those positions really well because I think his wrestling's a lot better than his jiu-jitsu. But then when he like fell off the top, he just kind of like laid there and was like, oh, this is over, and Brichta TKO'd him. And so like I like Szymański's wrestling enough to think he is going to out wrestle Formela. But I would not like hinge a parlay on this guy right now because he's on a 3-fight losing streak and he hasn't looked particularly good in that stretch. But with that being said, I still think he's got the tools to beat Formela. So give me Szymański here.
So that's why he sighed, but he's still
it's like
Szymański as well.
Sucks.
All right, we're going to 205 next. Damian Piwowarczyk. Piwowarczyk, of course, obviously, right? He is from Poland, obviously. Cedric Lushima, he is from Belgium. They are fighting, what did I say? They're fighting out 205, sorry, 3 5-minute rounds. All right, Lushima's got the interesting nickname. A couple episodes ago, I think I mentioned this. Drik O'Velli. DRIK''O-VELLI.
Did you figure out what that means?
No idea. I Googled it and his name comes up. Have him on Top Turtle Gumby and find out. He's 6-0. Lushima, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He hosted some rounds here. This is his debut in KSW. Last 2 wins have come via submission. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky with it. Plus 190 for Lushima. Piwowarczyk. Damson is the nickname. 9-4, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 6-4 in KSW. 1-2 over his last 3, 4-2 over his last 6. TKO win in his last bout. 2 years younger than Lushima, 5 inches taller, minus 260.
I'm going to take Lushima. I'm going to go slight dog here. You know, I was watching Piwowarczyk and like tries to get out on some takedowns early in one of the fights I was watching, and man, his entry is not sharp. He like ducked his head down and like just like reached forward and tried to hug the guy, and it didn't work. And I was like, that's bad. Don't do that again. And then, you know, as far as his striking goes, he's got some good stuff. You know, he's pretty sharp with his body kicks. He's got like he throws a left kick to the body that's really, really hard. but at the same time, he's like low hands, chin up in the air, does a lot of things that are kind of silly in that way. But the biggest problem I have for him is I don't think he can defend the takedown of Lushima. This is a guy who like plows forward on takedowns. Like I saw him get to the legs on some takedowns, and not only does he get to the legs on some takedowns, but he's like one of those guys who like when he gets it, he doesn't just get to the legs and stop and try to pick you up. He drives forward until either you fall down or you get into the cage. And like it's worked really well for him in the past. Then once he's on top, he's got not only great control, but excellent transitions. Like I love the way and he's not been fighting high competition, but like I still can tell that I like the way this guy takes the back. I like the way that this guy doesn't risk his position for his submission or risk his position for another position that's not needed. He just does a really good job of moving from place to place, and he's got good sub skills. So I'm going to take the tough wrestler here from Belgium over the kickboxer. Give me Cedric Lushima.
All right, Lushima, lock him in, and whatever that nickname of his is. Someone let us know what Drico means. Someone should know. All right, we're going to dive into more picks after I tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. And it's last week to sign up and get a free Refs or Terrorists t-shirt. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs, REFS, to claim your free shirt. And Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is on now. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas to be treated like VIPs for their stay. You get a limo ride from the airport and a $5,000 tab for a stadium swim and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. Plus, you can always get 15% off at all the Circa properties with our promo code SGP15. Enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Moving right along to the next fight. It is at 170. Wiktor Zalewski. He is from Poland. Mateusz Pawlik. He's from Poland as well. Those names weren't so hard. Let's break her down. 170, as I said. We will tell you about Pawlik first. 5-2, one knockout, one submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. This is his KSW debut. He's won 3 straight fights. He's not lost since November 2021. Used to fight at 185, an inch taller than Zalewski, plus 400. Zalewski is 7-1 with 6 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. He owes us rounds. 3-1 in KSW. TKO loss in his last bout. Minus 649.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zalewski. Look, he is coming off that loss. I actually thought it was going to pull his number down a little more, but it didn't. And in that fight, he looked pretty good on the feet right up until he ate a body punch. And that body punch like crumbled him and he was done. And it was against good opponents too. So like, we're not going to take that away from him. And he's pretty technical on the feet. He's a guy who cuts angles well. He cuts off the cage well to make sure that you're not getting away from him or circling away from him gratuitously. I really like that about him. The one thing I don't like is sometimes when an exchange is a little bit too long, he leads with his head. And he's one of those guys who like drops his head down and sometimes takes like a punch off the forehead. And it feels like somebody should be able to catch him with that, but for the most part, nobody has, right? His only loss is a body shot. So I don't like that about him. But I do think that he mixes it up the feet pretty well. And I think that that's his path to victory here. And then with Pawlik, I pulled up one of his fights because I'm not familiar with him. Like you said, this is his KSW debut. And he looked tired 2 minutes in. He was breathing with his mouth open 2 minutes into the fight. And it was mostly just because he had only thrown haymakers for those 2 minutes and he was cooked. And just thinking about the way Zalewski moves around the cage and like forces you to get on your bike and, makes you fight where he wants you to fight. Like, I'm not going to say he's like got the pace of like Joshua Van, because Joshua Van looked damn good this past weekend, but it's that style, right? Like he just wants you to keep having to fight him. And then Pawlik is a guy who tires super quick. So like it's his, I don't mean to keep saying this because it feels like I've said it 4 times already in this episode. It's his worst nightmare. That's the last thing somebody like Pawlik who doesn't have good cardio wants to see. And on top of that too, like even dropping his head down the way it is, like that in a manner that I don't particularly love, I still don't think he runs into the problem of getting tagged by the types of punches Pawlik throws, because he's just he's a lot of strength without very much technique. So give me Zalewski here, even with the crazy inflated number.
All right. Lock it in. We're to our co-main event already, and it's for a big shiny belt, KSW Bantamweight Championship. The champion, Sebastian Przybysz, one of the names I enjoy saying. He's from Poland, obviously. Oleksii Polischuck he's a challenger. He's from the Ukraine. 5-minute rounds, 135 belt on the line. We will tell you about the challenger, Polischuck. 13-5, 3 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times. 3-2 in KSW. He's won 3 of 4 and 6 of 8. Submission win in his last bout. Regional champion. He's fed at 145. 3 years younger than Przybysz. 4 inches of reach on him, plus 285. Cedric, you can call the champion. 13-4-1, 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted 1 time. Very durable. 10-3-1 in KSW. He's the champ and also the former champ. He's gone 1-1-1 over his last 3, 3-2-1 over his last 6. He did win his last fight, which got him his belt back. He's at minus 350.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Przybysz. Basically all I need in order to like him in this fight against Polischuck is the 9 fights he had with Jakub Wicklash, right? Like, didn't they fight like 7 times or something like that? Mm-hmm. It was an exorbitant amount of fight. I think Wicklash either left KSW or retired altogether on the last one, which is why Przybysz was able to win the title without having to fight Wicklash again. But yeah, like if you watch those fights, right, those fights are very exciting for a couple of reasons. They're both exceptionally good grapplers. One of them's a little safer on top, which ultimately won him some fights. One was a little riskier and a lot more fun, but they're both like, average-ish strikers to above average strikers, really good grapplers, excellent at even the risky, Przybysz is the riskier of the two. Even being the riskier of the two, good at keeping himself safe when he's on top, good at doing damage. And like all of those things are what I think saves him here against Polischuck. Because if you watch Polischuck, like, first of all, he's really crafty with his submissions. Like, he is throwing up stuff you are really not expecting anybody to hit in high-level MMA. And he's hit it against some pretty high-level opponents. I don't think he will hit it against the guy who, like I said, has been in there with Wicklash 5 or 6 times or however many times, as well as like, what was his title win? Bruno Alvacedo. That's like a good win too. So like he's been in there with tough guys who could catch him. I don't think this kind of stuff is going to catch him. It's fun to watch and it's gotten him where he needs to be, but I don't think that his crafty sub game is good enough for Przybysz. And then the other thing is like, I went back and was looking for like what happens when somebody chooses to wrestle Polischuck, because he's so good at submissions. Like, people often don't choose to wrestle him, right? They'd rather just box him. Totally an option for Przybysz. I think if he does it, he probably wins the fight too. But if he does choose to wrestle, I was like, let me just see what this looks like again if Polischuck winds up getting taken down. And I went back and I found 2 fights he had with Sylvester Miller. It might be Sylvester. I don't know. Because it's spelled weird. Yeah. But I went back and watched his fights with Sylvester Miller. And like when he gets on the bottom, which it happened quite a few times in those fights, because he fought him back-to-back times, I think. And when he got on the bottom, when Miller lowered his hips and put him in a bad place so that Polischuck couldn't throw up triangles or couldn't throw up arm bars or couldn't do, all the stuff he loves to do on the mat, he kind of just looked disappointed and like, well, maybe I'll just try it again. There wasn't like oh, maybe it's time to get up, or, oh, maybe it's time to kick off the hips and, do something like that. It was like, oh, I'll just do it again. And I'll just do it again. And so like Przybysz, as I said, is a guy who, first of all, is safe on the mat, but second of all, is also, he learns a lot in his fights. You can tell. And so I don't think that if Polischuck fails on the first couple of attempts and he just keeps trying them, that's going to go very well for him. So I'm going to take Sebastian Przybysz. What did you say we were getting a number on him? 350. So that's come down quite a bit. So when I broke these fights down a few days before you were getting this in your ears, ladies and gentlemen, it was negative 425. So it seems like the money is coming in on Polischuck, which is kind of interesting with the champ. Like, you don't usually see lots of dog money coming in on these regionals on challengers. So yeah, maybe wait a little. Like if you're a Przybysz guy like I am, maybe just wait a little bit. That line might come in a little better for you. All right, there you go. Before we get to our main event, which is for another bout, let me talk about Rhythm. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns
where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know, we will be Gumby's, in there all the time checking out MLB lines. So check it all out. You can check it out for free.
They're big on Spencer Schwellenbach right now, and he's throwing tomorrow at the time of you hearing this. So,
nice.
Maybe check out what they have to say about my guy Spencer
Schwellenbach Power Trend. You can do that for free by getting a 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RTHMM.
And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's time for my bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. A pick I like for game 3, I like Alex Caruso's higher than on his steals. They've got it projected at 1.5. He didn't get any in game 2, but he had 9 in the 3 games prior. So I'm going to go higher than on the Alex Caruso steals. And you can get in on that if you sign up with the promo code MMA SGPN. Get your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN.
And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet in every sport, including the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. They have KSW. I've seen it there before. So when you do head to MyBookie, check out the odds, MyBookie.ag. Make sure you use our promo code MMA SGPN. That way you get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. And we're to our main event. Phil DeFries is the long-running heavyweight champion of KSW from the UK. He's against Arkadiusz. How do we decide his first name was?
Arkadiusz
Wrzosek. Hey, it's not so bad. He's from Poland. Unless I said it wrong, of course. 5-minute. It was not so bad unless I butchered it. 5-minute rounds. Let's break it down. Hightower is Wrzosek's nickname because he's a tall boy, 6'7", I believe. He's 6-0, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. All those fights take place in KSW. 4 straight wins via finish. 93 with 2 no contests as a kickboxer, and he's a multiple-time champion in that sport. He also went 1-0 in pro boxing. 7 years younger than DeFries, 3 inches taller, 4 inches of reach on him, plus 175 for the challenger. DeFries, 26-6 with 1 no contest. 7 knockouts, 14 submissions. He's been knocked out 5 times. 12-0 in KSW. He's the champion. 11 title defenses already under his belt. A TKO win in his last fight. He's not lost a belt since May 2017. He went 1-0 in Bellator, 2-3 in the UFC. He's got a draw.
Those 3 losses in the UFC were 3 of his 5 knockout losses. I remember those.
He is really, like you said off air, really had a career since that time.
Yeah, he was a whipping boy in the UFC. I mean, like, granted, his first one was Stipe.
Right.
But then I want to say Mitrione and Todd Duffy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like those are, I mean, like they're big punchers, but like, man, he's really made something out of his life after having a pretty bad run in the UFC.
He's got to be the longest running champion of any of these quote unquote major promotions,
especially for heavyweight. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, well, you never come across someone with 11 title defenses already under the belt. All right, so I told you UFC, he got a draw in grappling. He grappled Josh Barnett last year.
He drew Josh Barnett. There you go.
2009 pro MMA debut, 16 pounds heavier than Wrzosek based off of their past weigh-ins, minus 225. So is this too much too early for the challenger, or what do you think?
Yes. Way too much too early.
Only 6 fights under.
A negative 225 is a steal on Phil DeFries here. If you're not play 225 straight up kind of guy, you could, I mean, he's a great parlay piece here to pair with somebody else. Maybe the main event odds that I gave you from yesterday's show, maybe pair those two together, do a little cross-platform parlay. Nice. But yeah, Phil DeFries for me, and the reason is if you watch Wrzosek, long, sharp jab, kind of the thing you would probably want to try to beat Phil DeFries. He comes from a kickboxing background. If I'm not mistaken, he fought Better Hardy.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Which is, not nothing. And so like, he's got good kickboxing. He's long. He's rangy. But also, I went back and I watched this fight with Sarara, and he got dropped in that fight pretty badly. And then after he got dropped, Sarara was on top. and he had no idea what to do. He had no idea how to get up. I think he comes back and wins that fight, but that's just because the round ended with Serrara and mount, and he didn't finish him. And like, if Phil DeVries mounts you, you are so badly screwed that there is no way. And like, if he didn't have any ideas before, like, that is a big ass to go from I can't figure out how to get Serrara off me to I can't figure out how to get the 11-time defending KSW grappling specialist champion off of me. Phil DeVries arm triangle first round. That's what I'm calling.
Some book has got to be brave enough to post that. Let Gumby bet on it.
Let me add it.
Yeah, let him have it. All right, let's recap, and then we'll see if Gumby has come up with any lightning round plays. We don't have a heck of a lot that we've covered already half the card here. He has got DeVries. He has got Przybysz. So no new champs on Saturday, according to Gumby, at least not in KSW. Zalewski, he has got Lushima. He has got not Formela, right? You've got Szymański.
Yeah, I went with Szymański.
Yeah. Did you find anything in lightning round that interests you? I can get your odds if you need it.
I don't have the odds, but you could tell me whether or not either of these two guys who I picked are playable. I'm sure one of them will be an underdog. So the one who I don't think is going to be an underdog is Islam Jabrailov.
Plus 135. Lucky
wow.
You.
Okay, that's really nice then. Okay, so I like Jabrailov. I've always kind of liked how he mixes it up. He's explosive. He always looks a little bit worse than you want him to, but like also like gritty and gets the job done. So I like Jabrailov here. Love him even more that he's plus 135. And then the one I thought would be a big dog is Michael Domin.
Let me see. Plus 120, so a smaller dog.
Ooh, really? Dog. And he's fighting that guy who I always fade out of, who used
Damian
to be
Stasiak.
Yeah, no offense to Damian Stasiak, but like he's just a guy who I've found since he's at this stage in his career is worth fading because sometimes he just like isn't able to get going the way he was when he was in his prime. So I like Michael Domin for kind of that reason, not just a straight fade, but he's got the game that he needs to beat Stasiak. So both of those lightning rounds, Jabrailov and Domin, slight dogs there for you. So There you go.
Gotta like that. All right, you're all set for KSW. You're all set for regional for this week. We are covering the UFC for the next 2 episodes, and then we'll take a couple of days off. Rinse and repeat next week. We'll be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We'll be checking YouTube comments at MMA Gambling Podcast. We'll be checking, Gumby will be checking the mentions on the old Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Enter my UFC Pick'em contest for free at moneymma.substack.com. Listen to Gumby's other podcast, Top Turtle MMA. You get a sneak peek of this coming season's Dana White Contender Series. He has some participants on that on this here episode. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Back tomorrow. Hightower, Jeff Fox, Drick O'Velly, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.